Hi everybody, Zach here, and welcome to this Visual C++ tutorial series. This series will serve as an introduction to Visual C++, and this first lesson will serve as getting us set up for the rest of the series. So we'll be installing Visual Studio and the appropriate compilers today. If you already have Visual Studio installed but aren't sure that you have the correct compilers installed, go ahead and follow this video. If you are certain you have the correct compilers installed, then see me in the later videos. So, that said, let's get started. So if you don't have the Visual Studio installed, or you're not sure if you have the right compilers installed, go to your browser of choice and search in Google Visual Studio. Go to visualstudio.microsoft.com, and then under Visual Studio IDE, select the version you're using. So if you want the free version, go to Community. Once it loads, it should automatically begin the download. And there we can see it's automatically downloaded. Yeah, I've downloaded it a few times. So just go ahead and run that. Once it's done running, you'll come to this end user license agreement sort of section where you have the privacy statement, and by hitting continue, you agree to that privacy statement and the license terms. Go ahead and continue. This will take a while if you've not downloaded it before. Once it's done, or if you are working, once it's done, it will bring you to a new window where you can set up your compilers. If you already have it installed, it should be relatively quick. And in here, make sure you've installed it. So you'll see install options. And then go to modify, once it's installed, that is. And in here, you'll find your C++ compilers. You might end up using compilers that I don't use, which is perfectly fine. So I would recommend getting your Universal Windows Platform Development and your desktop development with C++. You might need other ones that I don't need, and I might be using ones like this Python one that you won't end up using. And then once you have everything selected, hit modify. It'll take a bit to install, and once it's installed, join me for the next half of this video, where we will make sure that the compilers actually work correctly. So once you have installed, you should have a page like this come up that will list all your projects. You can see that I'm working on some things, even doing a tutorial that is honestly meh. And you can see my prep file there. So the first thing you'll want to do is go to File, New, and Project. And here we'll load up all your compilers that you have. And we just want to go to the Visual C++ and do Windows Console Application. I'm just going to name this one CPP for C++, YT for YouTube, and then Tutorial. And I'm just going to change this directory. You're all going to get a nice little view of what I have in my computer. I'm just going to put it in the 2 neurons folder there. And I am just going to hit OK. It will create your solution for you and your header files. But we're going to make some changes to it just so we get the practice of doing this ourselves. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here, and I'm just going to delete everything. And always start with sort of a comment about what this file is going to be about. So this is a tutorial to make sure the compiler has installed correctly. Go down a couple of lines, and we're going to want to include our pre-compiler header. So # or hashtag include, used to using a UK keyboard, I'll sometimes put the @ key up, pre-compiler header. You see I was already trying to fill this in for me. So I'm just going to put a note in, even though I know what it is. This is more for the newer people. So this is a pre-compiler header. Remember, anything ending in a .h is a header. And then I'm going to want to include a way to get input from the user. So I'm going to include IO stream. And this allows, let me put a space there. This allows for input. The next thing is we need our main function. All C++ files need a main function. I'm going to declare it as an int main. And then I'm going to put my curly brackets in. Doesn't matter how you format your code. I actually do like it on that. Actually, no. I'm going to have it down there. This can be on the upper line down there. It doesn't really matter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a namespace from the IO stream standard, and I'm going to console out or cout. And what I'm going to send out is a simple hello world. Yes, it is quite literally the code I just deleted, I realize. Now, I could put a /n there for a new line, but let's just try something different. I'm going to continue using that standard library. I'm going to do an end line. So this is using standard library, or standard library for the IO stream. In terms of namespace, it is console out. So what is being sent out for display, and an end line. Now, normally my comments on code wouldn't be like this. I'm just doing it for anyone who is struggling following what's going on. The next bit we have is the end of our function. This is that return 0. So all main functions need to return 0. So return at the end of the main function. So I'm just going to very quickly right-click that, see what's going on there. Oh, there is. Oh, so I've made a mistake. It's saying it expected a semicolon. I have missed a semicolon. The easiest way to know that I missed a semicolon should have been the fact that it indented this automatically. But usually, when it's saying it's expecting something, look before it. I skipped my semicolon there. So, this is a simple hello world program. It should work perfectly fine. We're just going to very quickly build a solution to see if our compiler works. This might take a few minutes, so I'm going to pause the video here and resume when the compiler is done. Of course, it took less than a second after me saying that. So it's compiled. Now let's try a local Windows debugger. So, yep, it's displaying hello world. We can hit any key to automatically close this, so our compilers are properly installed. So that concludes this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like down below. And if you have any sort of feedback for what you want to see in a C++ tutorial series, go ahead and drop a couple of comments. If you have any sort of information you want to pass along as well, drop a comment there. Make sure to hit that subscribe and notify icon so you know when the next tutorial is out. And I hope to see you in the next lesson. And as always, have a wonderful day.